from the class, we discussed an example email classification. In case of email classifications, what are our levels? What are our levels? Our levels are the whether the email is the spam or it is not a spam. So it is not a real value, it is just a text, or you can say it is just a class. Okay, so sometimes we need to transform our data from text into numeric form. Okay, so that time we will use this library, or you can say this package from sklearn dot feature extractor dot text import count factorizer. Okay, it will, what it will do, it will convert a collection of text documents, the document that we have, to a matrix of token count, to a matrix of token count. Okay, so that means your text document will be converted, or your text data will be converted to a matrix of token count. Token counts are the, you can see, the numeric data. Okay, and the whatever output you will have after this, it is just, it will give you a matrix, and this matrix will be an sparse matrix. This matrix will be an sparse matrix. So what does sparse means here? Sparse means most of the entries are 0 or near to 0, and the few entries are greater than 0, you can say. So this is sparse representation. It is just a term used in computer science and mathematics, sparse. Okay. So this package we will use when we will work on like email classification problem, and this package will also be used. Okay, so it is a naive based classifier. It will be used for classification. Okay, the example we discussed in the class. Okay, so these we discussed in the last lab. And if you remember, in the last lab we discussed the linear regression, a small Python code. I think all of you remember this. I can recall in just a minute. Okay, so just a minute, see the recall here. We discussed this in the last class. We have imported this numpy. After that, we created some data, this user data. Okay. After this, we just plotted this data. You can see just the plot of this data. And after that, we have taken this regression, linear regression. The linear regression that we discussed in the class. Okay, so this from sklearn dot linear underscore model import linear regression, and we have taken this linear regression function, and then we will fit our data x and y. Okay, so now our model has fitted this data. Now we can use this fun to predict y value for x. Okay, so now we are using predict function. Okay, to predict the y value for the given x values. Okay, so this is the predicted values, this y is the predicted values. Okay, and the original y values are already given. So we can see the original y values are this and predicted are this. So using that we can guess how much error is this. After that we discussed this one fun dot coefficient. Okay, and fun dot intercept. Coefficient means the, if we talk about linear regression, y equals to mx plus c, then coefficient is the m value and intercept will be the c value. So this we discussed in the last class. So do you remember this? Then we continue further. Friends, students, do you remember this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, if you remember this, then we are continuing our lecture. Yeah, see. Now see this example. See, now the question is on the linear regression, and this time we are not going to use Python library, the linear model that we discussed right now and in the previous lab. We're not going to use that library. We will write our own code. So if someone asks you, can you write your own code for just for a small problem, and that will demonstrate the working of the linear regression. Okay, because everyone can use the library, but no one knows what is the background behind it. Okay. So the simplest example I am giving you. Okay, so I think my screen is visible, huh? Okay. So the example is this: a patient is given a dried feed containing a particular chemical, and its concentration in blood is measured. Okay. In suitable unit at one interval, the doctor believes that there is a linear relationship. It is already given in the question that there is a linear relationship exists between them. Okay, the linear relationship. So this is the time here. Your time, 1 interval, 1 hour duration in between the consecutive, and this is the concentration. So you can say initially the concentration of the blood is 2.4. After 1 hour, the concentration is this. After 2 hours, the concentration is this, and so on. Okay. Now, what is the question here? This concentration is the dependent, and this time is the independent. Okay. The question is we need to find the concentration in this time interval between this. That means we want to find the concentration after 3.5 hour. So the question is clear, the
Yes, sir,
students.
it is clear.
Okay. So do you remember what is the formula for linear regression? Or I need to show my notes again. Okay, I will show you the notes once again. Thing in this, let me check regression. Yeah. If you remember, this was the formula y equals to mx plus c for linear regression. Okay. And m was this. M is equals to covariance of x comma y divided by variance of x. Do you remember this?
Yes, sir, we remember
है
this.
This is the m, and c you can calculate c is equals to y minus m into x. ठीक है. Clear. So we are going to use that formula. Now we are going to write our own code. Okay. We are not going to use this Python library. Okay. So see here. You want to try, or I will show you the Python code that I have written. Hello?
दिखा सर एक बार.
Yeah, see. Okay, see. So now again, import numpy as np, import matplotlib.py plot as a plt, and we have not imported linear regression, linear model from sklearn. Okay? We have not imported this library. See, this library we are not going to use this one. Clear? Now see, so this is a library for the plotting purpose, and this library for some mathematical calculation. Okay. Now what is our data? Our data in the question is this. This is the x values, okay, and this is the y values. Okay, okay. So this is the x values, this is the y values. So we have taken this. X is equals to np dot array. Okay, zeros 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our x. Clear? This is our y again. np dot array and the data from the question. Okay. So what things are required in the formula? If we believe that there is a linear relation, then y equals to mx plus c. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
y equals to mx plus c. Now what is the formula for x? Covariance of x comma y divided by variance of x, and c is equals to y cap, y mean minus y equals to mx plus c, so c is equals to y minus m into x mean. ठीक है, so these two you need to calculate. ठीक है, so you need to calculate for covariance. Do you know the formula for covariance? We discussed in the class. ठीक है, so we will calculate this m value, we will calculate this c value, and keep in mind we are having only one feature. We are having only one feature. ठीक है, so this is the simplest one. ठीक, so first we calculated the mean value for this x and then the mean value for this y. ठीक है, now first we will calculate this covariance between x and y. ठीक है, so if you remember the covariance formula, so for covariance I can show you the notes here. Yeah, covariance is this: summation I is equals to 1 to n xi minus x bar. X bar is the mean value into yi minus y bar. Y bar is the mean value divided by n minus 1. Okay. So coming to the points here. So this is the covariance here for I is for I in range 0 comma n, where n are the number of data points. The sum is equals to sum plus xi, or you can and xi minus mean value of x into again yi minus mean value of y. Clear? And after finding this summation, it is just this summation divided by n minus 1. This is covariance. This function is clear that I have written. Everyone? I think apne in the first year you have learned Python, so you might be familiar with this.
हाँ सर,
Yes, yes.
थोड़ा
Okay, take it, fine. Fine. Next is the variance. Variance is equals to summation I equals to 1 to n bracket xi minus x bar square divided by n minus 1. So instead of this yi minus y bar, they have xi minus x bar once again. Okay. So the same thing, variance, this summation 0 mean value of x for I 0 to n, sum is equals to sum plus x of I minus x bar into x of I minus x bar. After this, sum divided by n minus 1. So this is variance of x. Clear? Okay. So these two things are clear. Now covariance of x is what? Covariance of x we have calculated. Variance we have calculated. See, covariance of xy will exist only when the length of x and length of y must be same. Okay. These are 7 data points, so this must be the 7 values. Okay, so that's why I have written this if else condition. If by mistake we have something different data, then that's why I have written this condition. Okay, so covariance we have calculated, variance we have calculated. Fine. Now m is equals to covariance divided by variance, and then c is equals to what? Mean value of y minus m into mean value of x. Fine. Okay, this is our m and c. So I have just printed m and c here. Clear? Now we are going to predict the y value. So y predict is equals to mx plus c. Y is equals to mx plus c. Okay, so we are going to predict this. Now I'm just trying to visualize this data. So I'm going to do a scatter plotting and just hide all these things. Okay. See, so plot x plot, scatter plot x comma y, color is m, magenta color maybe, marker is this, size is this, nothing else. See, so you can see this is our data point. This is our x, y, and when this is matlab time is equals to 0, concentration, time is 1, concentration, time is 2, concentration, time is 3, concentration, time is 4, concentration, and so on. Okay. Using our model, we have find the coefficient, that is m is equals to this value and c is equals to this value. Okay. Now just want to see this graph as well. The graph between the x value and the predicted y values and the predicted y values. See. So now see, we are having this graph. Can you see this one? The green one? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah. So this is our model. This green model is the green line is our model y equals to mx plus c that we have obtained. That means that we have built our machine. Okay? And these are the data points that were already given. So if we want to calculate the concentration at 3.5, what we can do here? We can use this m value, this. We can use this c value, and we can find the y at x equals to 3.5. At x 3.5 is equals to y equals to m into 3.5 plus c, and print this. Okay, clear? 3 point, I think this is by predict x 3 point. Okay, see. Clear? So see. So this is our answer. Okay. Clear? So this example we did, so we have not used any Python library and we used linear regression. Okay, this one is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If this one is clear, so actually I'm showing you the two assignments. So this question we discussed in the class last time when we used Python library. This time we didn't use Python library and we solved similar question. ठीक है? Just let me check one thing. Just a minute. We can use the Python library as well, and then we will show you the output. Okay, so normalize this, fit this, predict this. Okay, no problem. ठीक है, इसको कर लिया. Okay, इसको फिर से plotting करते हैं. Okay, fun. Okay, इसमें reshape करना पड़ता है. Just a minute. What happens, see, if you are using Python library, if you remember from the previous class, if you are using Python library, then we must to reshape our data in matrix. Do you remember from the last class? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
है ना? See, so that's we are, yeah, we need to reshape our data. So I can write here x1, y1 or xu, yu to differentiate xu, yu. Okay. Plot figure, this is not required. Color red isn't so fit this. Okay. 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 So I'm going to use the same thing here. Now this time with the Python library. XU, YU, and XU and by predict 2. Let's see what will happen. Expected 2D array or got 1D reshape. I think हम reshape करना भूल गए. Oh sorry, यहाँ पे XU YU and this is XU. Now see, can you see the same graph here using the Python library and
Yes.
without using the Python? Same graph we are having. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's I want to show you. Okay, so CO coefficients. You can see 1.84 and here you can see one the same. Clear?
Yes, sir.
The same 1.98, 1.98. Clear? So that's I want to show you. Matlab, it doesn't depend whether you are using the library or you are using the own code. Both the time, if you are following the same algorithm, you will have the same solution. Okay. So this I have done. Now the one question is for you. So now this time you are having this data. Okay. The height and weight of a sample of 11 students are this. This is the height here. You can note down the data. Okay, and use the problem that we discussed in the first class, in the first question, regression line between W and H, regression line between W and H, and use this regression line to estimate the weight whose height is 1.6. Clear? Fine, this one is fine. So you can note down the question and you are having around 10 to 15 minutes to write your own code. Okay. So first we are seeing our so see uh, uh, import numpy.np. Okay. So numpy is a Python package or you can say the library and that is used for scientific calculation like if you want to create a matrix, we want to create n-dimensional array. So we will use this library. Okay. You can see by using this library here we are creating a array. Using this library you can see we are calculating the mean value. I can also show you one more thing. Using this library you can find the sign value, like I will show you print np dot sign of x. uh, you can say this is y3 is equals to, so you can find the sign value, you can find the exponential function. Np dot exp of x. So this is the use of this library numpy.np. Okay. Generally the n-dimensional array first thing, and many inbuilt modules are available. For an example, mean, sine, cos, sorting, Fourier transformation. A lot of modules are available. Okay. And we are not able to learn whole library actually in the one semester. So try to learn the things that are useful for data science. Okay. Since if we want to create an array, so see how using this you can create the array. There is a one module that is called shape that will give you the shape of your x. Okay. So I try to you learn in this way. ठीक है. After that we used matplotlib.py plot, matplotlib.py plot. ठीक है. So again for this a lot of modules are available. I can show you plt dot, and you can see a lot of modules are available, and it is difficult for us to learn all the things. ठीक है, in a semester. So what we will try, we will see, जैसे कि we try to use scatter plot. So we will see this scatter, how this is scatter work. Okay, so in this scatter plot, two things are required, x and y, and other things are optional. You can see parameter x and y are required. X and y both must be of same shape. They are array like. ठीक है. So not matrix. You can't use matrix. They must be array. ठीक है. And other things are optional. You can see this one is optional. This C is optional. ठीक है. So other things are optional. Marker. ठीक है. So other things are optional. So x and y must you need to pass. So in our plot you can see I passed x and y, and I passed a color is equals to m. So you can skip this as well. ठीक है. Doesn't require this. ठीक है. Color m magenta. ठीक है. Marker I used this O, small o, you can say this. You can use other markers as well, like plus sign hota hai, star, and s is the size. If you change this size, it will change this. You can say this one. ठीक है. So the try to learn these things that are must. ठीक है. After that, what I plotted this. This is a scatter plot, and this is just a line plot. So plt dot plot x, again y, this time predicted values of y, and we are using color green just to differentiate. So I'm using this green color. Beside this, you can use the line thickness also. जैसे कि है ना, you can see plt dot plot. So you can see here arguments and scale data, this x comma y, this. ठीक है. So pair plot x comma y, plot x and y using default line style and color. ठीक है. You can use this as well. bo plot x and y using blue. B stand for blue, O stand for circle marker. ठीक है. I think line width you can also set line style, dash line width 2. So we can set this as well. You can see in our this I am trying to change. Okay, so I'm using line style and line width. Now you can see this is dash and line width. If you change this, you will have a different thickness. Okay, now you got my point. Yes or no? ठीक है. After that, I use plt dot x label. So label stand for this, and x label stand for x-axis, and y label stand for y-axis. So this is again optional. ठीक है. If you comment this, it will not affect, but it will just so here
वो
you can.
लेबल्स को नाम देने के लिए है।
हाँ सर, ये सॉरी, दिस इज फॉर दिस. अगर आप यहाँ पे यू कैन राइट द टाइम हियर, टाइम, एंड हियर आई कैन राइट द कंसंट्रेशन. ठीक है. So you can see here, you can see this is the time here, and this is the concentration.
ओके सर।
ठीक है. सो दिस आर द लेवल्स यार. और भी ऑप्शंस होते हैं, नॉट लिमिटेड टू दिस. और भी ऑप्शंस होते हैं, लाइक एक लेजेंड ऑप्शन होता है, एनोटेशन ऑप्शंस होता है. सो वी विल सी व्हेन एवर इट रिक्वायर्ड. ठीक है. I suggest start working instead of learning things. Start working on them, and whenever it is required, go over the documentation or go over the internet and try to see how it works. ठीक है. So this was here. ठीक है. After that, what I did, the same problem be solved using the linear regression. Okay, so from sklearn dot linear model import linear regression. See, now keep in mind, for using a regression model, our data must be in the form of matrix, but it is in the but it is an array. So if you see the shape here before this, print x dot shape and y dot shape, see the output here, it is 7 only. And after performing this reshape minus 1 1 minus reshape minus 1 1, what it will become, it will become a matrix. Okay, it will become a matrix, and where I am setting column is equals to 1 and number of row, it depends on the data. So it automatically will take 7 because I am using x and the size of x is 7. So 7, so column is 1 and x will automatically taken based on the data. So it is just the reshaping of our array in the matrix form. Okay, so see, after this reshaping we have our this data. Okay, now we can use this data for linear regression model. So we used this linear regression. Okay, normalize, we are not using this, so we can go over documentation for this as well. For now, just think we are using this linear regression. Okay, so I just let fun equals to linear regression. Okay, and in this we are having one function. There are different modules, so one of them is the fit. अगर आप देखेंगे ना मेरे notes, in the notes I have this, see, एक table है ये, fit, get parameters, predict, score, params. So we use fit. That means fit our linear model. So using this, we are fitting our data points. We are fitting our data. So we are fitting x and y. Okay, now our model is ready. Now our model is ready. Okay, now we can use this fun. We can use this fun to predict y values. We can use this fun to predict y values only after this. Only after this is must. Okay, so now we are using this predict to predict y values for the same x. Okay, so you can see this y predicted value, and again we have plotted the graph. Okay, and these are the m value, this one, and this is the coefficient, or you can say the c value. Okay, now it is clear? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
आपने एक चीज नोटिस नहीं करी, in our code I have not written the predict function. यो predict function है ना यहाँ पे, sorry, fit, yes, this predict I have not written. So we can write here our predict function as well if you want. कैसे? def, or we can write our my predict, and what we need to pass in this predict function, we need to pass x, we need to pass m, we need to pass c, and we just need to return this, return m into x plus c. So instead of writing this, and write this. Oh, x comma m comma c. Okay, so you can see here the same graph we are having. कुछ difference है, y equals to m into x plus c. ठीक है, clear? Sorry, mx plus c है ना, clear? So this was the problem here. ठीक है, clear? So this fit function, you now you understood what is this fit function, sorry, this predict function. Predict function will use the x value and the m and c value, and will find the y value. Okay, since we are not passing here m and c because we are fitted our model, so this function fn will have automatically m and c value. You can see here fun dot coefficient, fun dot interest, so this automatically have these values. That's why we are not passing here. So the same thing that is available in the library, we have written our own code. Clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. 3.5. सी कितना आ रहा है ये? सर इसको वो 2D बनाना पड़ेगा तब पास कर सकते हैं. ओके ठीक है. सो नाउ द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. सो दिस नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन यू कैन सॉल्व. ठीक है. सेम क्वेश्चन है बस डेटा पॉइंट चेंज है. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
Now, है ना, now I am going to show you the linear regression on large data set. Linear regression on the large data set. Okay, so we were using the small data set. Now we are using large data set. Large data set means we are not having one feature. Uh, we can have more than one feature. Or instead of the 7 data points जो अभी हमारे क्वेश्चन में थे ना, we were having the 7 data points here. 1 2 3 we can have maybe hundred samples. ठीक है. Feature may be one, but we can have more than 100 sample, more than 200 samples. Okay, so large data set. So which data set I am using here? I am using this data set, house data underscore CSV. ठीक है. I am having this data. ठीक है. I will upload this data on LMS as well. ठीक है. So to demonstrate the same linear regression on house data. ठीक है. Then I will show on multilinear regression when we have more than one feature. ठीक है. So see here. Okay, so this one, yeah, large data, yeah, this one. ठीक है. So see, first library import and numpy.np is same. This one is same. ठीक है. Now this time we are using one more library that is called pandas. That is called pandas. And why we are using this library? Why we are using this library? We want to work with the data. ठीक है. So we want to read our data from the directory. We want to process our data. So this panda library is very useful here. In the documentation you can see. Okay, panda, yeah, panda is a Python package provide fast, flexible and expressive data structure designed to make working with relational and labeled data. ठीक है. So we want to work with the data this time. ठीक है. So I will show you this data here. Okay, just a minute. Hmm, lab. This house data you can see. So this data you can see we are having multiple columns and there are many rows. So number of rows are called the samples and number of columns are called the features. ठीक है. So this you can say this is a large data here, or you can say this price will be our y value. Price will be our y value, which is dependent on which thing? It will depend on the square feet living area. It will depend on the number of floor. It will depend on so many things. Latitude, longitude. That means the location of the house. Am I right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. So I will show you the one feature we will use, and then in the next example we will use more than one feature. ठीक है. So see, first thing pandas. ठीक है. So panda is for data structure. ठीक है. Database. So first thing is pd dot csv. Import pandas as pd and pd dot read underscore csv or this house data. ठीक है. That is separated by comma. ठीक है. The CSV files are always separated by comma, so I think this is optional here, but maybe there may be the some file which are separated by some other things. ठीक. So this is we have a read our data. ठीक है. So now our house data is in this variable. You can say this data set. this data set. So I've just used print dataset dot shape. It will give you the shape of our data, and dataset dot head. So it will just give you the top 5 entries. Top 5 entries. Okay, clear. Trail will give you the last 5 entries. Last five. Okay. So I just want to see top 5 entries or the shape. So you can see the shape is this. Yeah, so there are 21613 samples. That means the number of rows. Okay, so we are having data of how many house? 21,613. जैसे कि in our example we were having the blood concentration at 7 intervals, but this time we are for house data we are having 21613 house data. These are the number of columns, but we do not know how many number of rows are relevant to us or not. Sorry, how many columns are relevant to us or not. Okay. So one of them is ID, which is not relevant. Second one of them is data, which is not relevant to us. Okay. So some of them may be relevant, some of them may not be relevant. So we will extract the relevant things. So suppose in this code, I'm just considering only one feature. In this code, I'm just considering only one feature. Okay. I have also considered two features. First, I will show you the one feature only. So see, I'm considering only one feature. Suppose square feet living. Just comment out this one. Okay. Okay. So I'm considering which feature? Square feet living. This feature we are considering only. Okay. So this will be our feature column. That means this will be our x values. Okay. Space price. Okay. So this is our x values and this is our y values. Okay. So price I'm considering my y values and this I'm considering my x values. This is fine. I'm considering only the one feature right now. Yes or no? At least say yes or no.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now see, uh, just a minute. Just print this. Print space dot shape. Yes, shape and price dot
The shape is
oh
wrong spelling.
spelling. Yes, see. So this we have converted in the shape is sorry space dot shape and this. Okay. So इसको I think price dot shape. Okay. So it is already I think in matrix form, so we no need to write this. Okay. Okay. So
एक्सक्यूज मी सर.
yes.
सर मेरे को जाना पड़ेगा, मेरा डॉक्टर का अपॉइंटमेंट था.
Okay, you can go. ठीक है.
ये कर लूंगा मैं सर. थैंक यू सर.
ठीक है, ठीक. Okay. ठीक है. So
सर,
you yes.
स्पेस डॉट शेप वाले उसमें आउटपुट में कॉमा खाली ब्लैंक है, मतलब वो इट्स अ कंटिन्यूअस, उसका कोई वो नहीं है।
मतलब कि वो that is an array, that is not a matrix.
चलिए कि हम लोग यहाँ पे इसको कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं ना एरे में, फिर भी इसको शेप नहीं दे रहे हम लोग।
हमने सिर्फ इसको कन्वर्ट किया है, इसको नहीं किया
ओके
है ना. ठीक है. सो नाउ यहाँ तक दिस इज अवर डेटा है. सो सी आई हैव टेकन ओनली वन फीचर. वन मीन्स आई हैव वी हैव टेकन ओनली वन फीचर राइट नाउ. ठीक है.
यस
इज
सर।
इट ठीक है. सो जस्ट सी हियर. Okay, so we have taken only one feature. After that, we have splitted our data into training and testing. So in the notes as well, I have written this. So we are using this from sklearn.model selection import train test split. That means now what we are going to use. See, suppose we are having house data of 100 houses. Okay. So what we will do, we will use 80 house for building our model. For building our model, and we will use 20 house to check the accuracy of our model. That means to check the performance of our model. So understood why we are using this train test split?
Okay, sir.
Yes, obviously we need to check for unknown data. Okay, because we are using data to build our model, but that model must be as good as on unknown data as itself. Okay, so train means होता है the data that you are using for building your model, and test means होता है the unknown data whose x values are given and whose y value you are going to predict. Got my
Okay,
point?
sir.
ठीक है ना, जैसे कि सपोज यू आर हैविंग कुछ हाउसेस के डेटा है, यू हैव created your model, now you want to use that model to predict the house, to predict the price of some unknown house. So that is called, that is comes under the category of testing data. ठीक है,
Okay.
so one thing you can do, you can take some 80% values as a training and last 20% values as a testing. Is it good idea?
हाँ.
Always take it randomly.
सर randomly means मतलब कोई proportion तो
uh,
होगा ना?
See, suppose you might have data. Suppose I am giving you an example. Suppose you are having survey of pupils. Okay, so 100 surveys you are having. In that 100 survey, you are having a first 80 survey as for male and last 20 surveys for female. ठीक है, now if you are splitting your data into training and testing and you are taking 80-20 ratio. ठीक है, so suppose you will take first 80 entries as a training and last 20 entries as a testing. What will happen? In the training you have all the data related to the male, and in the testing you have all the data related to female.
Yes, sir.
So your model will not work in that case as good as you are expecting. ठीक है, so
तो फिर
it
आप
depends on, है ना, so it depends on the data के how your data is prepared. So the best way to split your data, always try to split it randomly. Randomly mat, just randomly select some 80% data. Maybe from first one you have selected, maybe it's fifth one you have selected, maybe sixth one, maybe seventh one, maybe 10th one, is like this. There is no continuous, जैसे कि you have not taken first 80% entries or first 70% entries. Understood why we used always random?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ठीक है, so we are using splitting our data. Test size is 0.2, so 20% for testing, 80% for training, and randomly we are doing this. ठीक है, so there is no, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने first 80% entries training ले ली, just not like that. ठीक है, so we have splitted our data. ठीक है, one thing we can do, if you want to use, we can use more than one feature as well, क्योंकि one feature का example तो we have already done here. We were having ना one features here, so
Yes,
we
sir. Yes,
can,
sir.
so try to use two feature. ठीक है, you can use more than two as well, not an issue. ठीक है, okay, yeah, that is fine. ठीक है, so train test is now for, yeah, so now again the linear regression. Now this, just let me know what will be your formula for linear regression this time. You are having two feature. One feature के लिए था ना, it was y equals to mx plus c. Now what will be this time?
सर अभी तो quadratic हो जाएगा ना?
No, 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 no. It is all. We are talking about linear. It will be linear, but it will not be a line.
Slow. It will.
M1 M1 x1 plus M2 x2 plus c.
Yes, sir.
है ना? So you can't visualize it, or you can visualize it as like in a room. It is a three-dimensional. ठीक है? But if you are having more than two features, then it is very difficult to visualize. So don't confuse it is quadratic. Quadratic means polynomial, but we are working on linear regression. Okay. So it will be m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus c. Fine. X1 will be
Yes, sir.
your X1 will be your first feature. First feature, like you can say, the first feature was your square feet living, and second feature is your number of bathrooms. Okay, so these are three unknowns this time: M1, M2, and C. As the number of features will increase, the number of coefficients, or you can say the number of unknown, will increase. Okay, clear. So we use this model here, linear regression. Against the same thing, any name you can write here, any name. In the previous question I have written fun function, but this time I have written regression, nothing else. And after that we fit this data on which, fit this model on which, always on the training data. Okay, so here I have written x train, y train. Okay, so we are fitting our training data, we are fitting our training data. So now this regression has this regressor is our model which has fitted our training data, x train, y train. Fine, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, clear. See, I have just created this dummy data, so no problem. I will tell you why I have created this one. I will tell you. Okay, now we are going to predict. Okay, so see, why I have created this, I just want to show. So I have created some dummy house. Instead of taking this testing data, I have created some dummy house. And what I have taken here, I have taken 5002. 5002 is what? 5000 is
The square feet and
the square feet living, and this is the number of. Okay,
bathrooms.
so yeah, so I have taken this data, this dummy data. Okay, and I'm trying to predict the y value. So regressor dot predict function, and this data you can, h data I can write here. Okay, so predict regressor dot predict. Okay, press a save. So this output it will give. Just let me check. Yeah, this output. So which one? So 1350606 or just let me check whether it is accurate or not. Um, we can always check the accuracy at the end as well. So you can see we are having prices around this for square feet. 1000 के लिए it is 221900. So yes, you can see the around it is, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You know,
Clear.
and for this it is in the 7 digit for 5000. 5000 not it here. For 2500 के लिए it is around 538000. Yeah, so we can see this is our y's value. This is our price of the house. If we are having the house whose area is this and the number of this, or area is this number of this. ठीक? But see, it can't be as accurate as we are thinking, because we have taken only two features. We have taken only two features, and there may be the case that our data does not following the linear relation. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
है ना? Yeah. Now we are predicting the same model on testing data. Testing data, that means the 20% data that we have splitted. So we are testing this on test data. So we have now this predicted value. This is our predicted values. Okay. That means the y values. That means the y values. Okay. So this y values and this y value, this y test or this y predict must be as equal as possible. Am I right?
So can you repeat?
See, we are using this x test data. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है? So to predict the y values. Clear? So and y test was the actual values.
Yes, sir.
Now these are the predicted values. So these two must be as equal as possible.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to visualize it. So see here, plt dot scatter x train y train color red. So you can say this is our training data. Okay. Okay, एक one problem है यहाँ पे, because I have taken two features and this scatter plot will work only for one feature. है ना, आपने अभी फंक्शन देखा था ना scatter plot,
Yes, sir.
x and y must be an array. So either we need to use only one feature, ठीक है, like this one. Okay. So I need to use maybe this one. एक प्रॉब्लम आएगी ऑलवेज, ठीक है, कहाँ पे था, x and y must be of same size. Sorry, yeah, you can see this is our data, but keep in mind here I'm showing you only the one feature. I am showing you only the one feature.
सर तो फिर 2 से ज्यादा दिखाना होगा तो फिर क्या कौन सा
तो
ही
बस
feature?
वही होगा, उसके लिए या तो फिर यू नीड टू चेक वेदर 3D is here for two feature, but more than two feature you are not able to show. So either you need to show in the pair, matlab for one feature this is the relation, this may be the plotting, for second feature this may be the plotting,
Okay.
है ना, अदरवाइज फिर वो 3D प्लॉट है, दैट मीन्स दैट विल बी फॉर द टू फीचर्स के लिए होगा,
Yes, sir.
है ना, ठीक है. सो आई जस्ट वांट टू शो, ठीक है, फिर एक्स टेस्ट वाई टेस्ट इसको चेक करते हैं. यहाँ पे एक थिंग प्रॉब्लम है, एक्स टेस्ट वाई टेस्ट ये तो सही है, वो ये नंबर ऑफ फीचर्स एक्चुअली यहाँ पे इसकी प्रॉब्लम होगी. ओके, सो दिस इज फॉर दिस, ठीक है. नाउ प्लॉटिंग करते हैं एक्स टेस्ट and this one, yeah, so this is our predicted values, है ना, this is our predicted values. So you can see around this kind of pattern you are following. These are the for actual values, yes or no, x test y
Yes, sir.
test, and this is for the predicted one,
Predicted value.
blue color, blue color.
मतलब सर अप्रोक्सीमेटली सही है.
हाँ बट ये इतना अच्छा नहीं है because I have tested the accuracy as well.
सर डेटा इज
So
ऑल बहुत आउटलायर्स बहुत सारे हैं उसमें.
हाँ, so I am getting the accuracy only 50%.
सर
ठीक है.
एक्यूरेसी कितना डाला?
Yes, I am discussing. See, so from sklearn import matrix, if you see the notes here, in the notes I have told you this from sklearn import matrix. Okay, so this is used for assessing prediction error. That means the for the performance of the model. Okay,
Okay.
so one parameter is the mean absolute error. Second parameter is the mean squared error. And one more parameter is the square root of the mean absolute error, ठीक है, and one more parameter is the R2 score. So whenever you learn in theory what are the performance metrics, I can in detail tell you these things.
ओके सर.
ठीक है, there is a confusion metric, there is a precision, recall, ठीक है, ROC curve, AUC, there are a lot of things available to check the accuracy, but this time I have display only the three: mean absolute error, mean square, and score. And if the score is 100, that means it is 100% accurate, but it is coming around 50, so it is, you can say, around 50% accurate our model is. Clear?
यस सर.
ठीक है, so our model is around 50% accurate right now. ठीक है, now the next thing what I am going to use, I am trying to show you this same thing for a data, for a data which is having more than one feature, and we are going to use all the features. We are going to use all the features. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Question is clear? I can dictate the question here. Hmm. See, so we are using this Boston data set. Okay, and this Boston data set I am not going to provide you. It is already in this library. Actually, there are a lot of database available in the library itself. Okay,
Oh,
so one of them, for this we need to use this from sklearn import data sets. Okay, so this data set I am going to use. This is Boston house data set. This is Boston house data set. So the same thing we are going to use now for Boston data set. And this time we will use all the
Excuse
features.
me, sir.
Ah, yes.
Sir, I have to go to dentist appointment. So, sir, can I leave?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I think, are you there, Srivastava, or you also want to go?
नहीं तो तब से तो हुई.
Okay, okay. So now we are going to use multilinear regression. Multilinear regression, that means more than one feature. Okay.
Okay.
So see, the same library, import numpy as np from matplotlib.py plot. Okay, fine. From sklearn import linear model as we discussed in the previous example. From sklearn import matrix in the from the previous example, and one more from sklearn import data sets. This one is new in this question. ठीक है?
सर ये जो डेटा सेट्स होंगे ये पहले से मतलब वो लाइब्रेरी में हैं.
हाँ, yes, these are all in the library.
ओके.
ठीक है, so see, इसको रन करते हैं. Okay, now I can show you this here on data sets question mark, and you can see here uh, site package sklearn data sets.
यस सर.
है ना? So now from this data set, okay, देखो, you can see available modules. Boston data है एक, नहीं load, sorry. Yes, you can say load Boston data है, cancer breast data, diabetes data, digits data, file, iris data. A lot of data are available. ठीक
यस
है?
सर.
If this data is not in the system, then it will automatically download this data for your current program.
ओके.
ठीक है? So just see here, this is for your reference purpose only. So now data sets dot load Boston data. ठीक है? So this data set load Boston data. So we have loaded this Boston data, and from this data set, actually, yeah, see, so Boston BOS dot data, that means the actual data values, that means the x values, and target is always the y values. Target is always the y values. ठीक है? Is it fine?
यस यस.
Okay, I'm just running this one. So you can see these are the features of my data. जो होते हैं ना column names,
हाँ सर.
जैसे कि square feet living or all these. So these are my features name. So Boston dot data will give you the x values. Boston dot target will give you the y values. X
ओके.
values means the features. X values means the feature matrix, and y values means the target, or जैसे कि price था in the previous question. ठीक है? So this data we have taken here. ठीक है? You can check the number of rows, number of columns. So in this data we are having 13 columns. That means 13 features, we can say. First feature, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 features. These are 13 features.
यस सर.
13 features hai, and number of rows mean number of samples. So 506. Previous question में थे around 20,000. ठीक है? So this thing is clear? Yeah. Now similar, we will always do train test split. train test split, and I'm just this time using 40% as a testing data, 40% as a testing
Testing.
data. ठीक है, so train test split, testing, splitting, ठीक है, train. Now again the same thing, we are using linear regression. Now what will be the formula this time?
Y is equal
m
to M
m1
plus.
x1 plus m2 x2
So इसमें
plus
तो
sorry,
फीचर इज ओनली वन.
नहीं नहीं 13 फीचर है ना.
हम लोग 13 फीचर्स सब काउंट कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, we are using all the features this time.
ओके सर.
We are using all the features this time. In the देखो from the small data set we were having only one feature. फिर मैंने आपको house data का क्वेश्चन दिया. In that there were many features but we used only two features, square feet living and एक और features था I think number of bathroom है ना. So we used only two features, but this time we are using all the features whether they are relevant or not. X13 plus constant. So this will be your model. ठीक है, yeah. So again the same line of code, linear underscore model dot linear regression. ठीक है, because we have imported linear model. ठीक है, so the same line of code. ठीक है, the same line of code fit, this will be the same line of code. ठीक है, now from here you will, so do you remember in the first question I used fun dot coefficient.
सर मैं नहीं था उस टाइम शायद.
ओके देखो, स्कोर था या this gives you the m value.
सर स्लोप.
Yes, so the same thing here, now we are having 13 values here,
यस सर.
m1 m2 m3 m4 m5 6 7 8. So these are the m values. ठीक है,
यस सर.
and finally direct if you want to find the accuracy, so this is a function here, dot score, the model name that is reg dot score, just pass the testing data. So on testing data it is providing you around 72% accuracy,
यस सर.
72% accuracy. ठीक है, so we can see here, this is just a plot here. So I used here scatter plot, plot x train, or this is the error here you can see. This is the difference between the y value for training data and the y value by predicted value for the training data. Yes or no?
यस सर. सर ये.
See, हाँ बोलिए.
नहीं ठीक से समझ.
ये this is for what?
The x value of the predicted
This is the देखो, I am using reg dot predict x train. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? This is the y value
of the
of training
predicted.
data by
Yes.
predicted value, not y value, by predicted value.
Okay sir.
Y predicted value of training data, and this is what y difference of the predicted value and the
Fine.
actual value.
Yes sir.
So I'm just trying to display the error actually. I'm
Okay.
trying to display the error. So this is on the training data, y value on the training data by predicted value and difference of the y actual value on the training data. That's why I have written here level equals to train data. ठीक है, the same thing I am doing for testing data. So by predicted value for the testing data
Yes sir.
and the error, that means the residual error, simple difference, the y predicted value of the testing data and y actual value of the testing data.
Yes sir.
And I'm just color blue, size same, and label is test data there. I'm just plotting a horizontal line to
Yes.
just differentiate, doesn't matter. So when we run this, we can see you blue, that is green color, this is our training data, and blue is our testing data. So training testing data are around same है ना. और error you can see error is from -10, most of the error are from -10 to 10
यस सर.
है ना.
सर तो हम लोग मॉडल का तो वो भी था ना 70%.
Yes, accuracy was 70%, 72%. Clear?
यस सर.
Okay. ठीक है. So this was the linear regression for multi-feature. Multi-feature means more than one feature. So it is called multi-linear regression.
यस सर.
So actually I discussed the solution as well. So this was the problem here. ठीक. So just take 2 minute break and just ask your doubts. Then I will discuss one more question.
सर जैसे हम लोग खाली अभी लीनियर रिग्रेशन कर रहे हैं, ऐसा क्वाड्रेटिक के लिए भी होता होगा?
क्वाड्रेटिक के लिए भी होता है. उसके लिए आपको पॉली रिग्रेशन होगा. जैसे अभी लीनियर रिग्रेशन है वैसे ही पॉली रिग्रेशन होता है.
तो लेकिन लाइक वी हैव इट्स डिफिकल्ट टू शो फॉर द लीनियर रिग्रेशन फॉर मोर देन टू फीचर्स.
यस, उनको मतलब ऑन कॉपी पेपर, जैसे कि इन द एग्जाम्पल ऑन द कॉपी पेपर आई हैव शोन यू फॉर वन फीचर.
यस
ठीक
सर.
है. टू फीचर के लिए आई कैन शो यू, थ्री फीचर के लिए आई कैन शो यू ऑन द कॉपी पेपर. बट आई एम श्योर मतलब क्वेश्चन थोड़ा क्लास में डिफिकल्टी हो गया था स्टूडेंट को,
यस.
है ना. उसके लिए क्या होगा कि एक मैट्रिक्स बना के देन वी नीड टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम. वो मैट्रिक्स बना के सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा, है ना. इसलिए और एक्चुअली आपके में मैथमेटिक्स कम है, और समझ रहे हो ना मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूँ,
यस सर.
इसलिए.
कोई है भी नहीं सर क्लास में.
ठीक है. सो दिस क्वेश्चन वी कैन डिस्कस नेक्स्ट टाइम इफ यू वांट, और वी कैन डिस्कस राइट नाउ एज वेल.
तो नेक्स्ट क्लास कर लेते बेटर है, क्योंकि मेरे को तो अभी तक सब समझ में आ गए हैं. मैं एक बार
ओके.
ट्राई करूंगा ये सब.
या ओके फाइन. ठीक है. ओके.